against a team like that, you have to soak it up and enjoy it, right?
Yeah, it's very much what the stadium needed in respect of where Arsenal are going and how we're playing. The narrative kind of goes a little bit from feast to famine all the time, and you're looking at the team and what they're trying to do, and they're constantly trying to get better with everything that's gone against them. They're still right amongst it, and I think a performance like this against the City side that seemed to be looking like they were coming out of the doldrums a little bit is a magnificent performance. It's a fantastic performance.
What does that do for Arsenal's self-belief now, in terms of the timing of this, having seen Liverpool go 9 clear, not just to beat City, but the manner in which they did it, Michael?
Well, exactly. All of a sudden you look at it, don't you, and think, right, well, Arsenal have still got to play Liverpool. Liverpool have still got to play some tough games. Away in the Merseyside derby next is not going to be easy. There's only 6 points between them now. All of a sudden you just think, could they? They're in some form. Going into this game, they were in brilliant form. And that performance was as good as it gets. Imagine what the feeling is amongst the club. Not just the first team, not just the fans. Imagine the academy. There's a 17-year-old kid curling a ball into the far corner. There's a left-back that's just played one of the best games I've seen from a left-back all season, who's only 18.
Who's a midfielder.
I mean, and he's scoring with his right foot. I mean, the whole club will be absolutely bouncing after a day like that, and they've just got to keep that momentum going forward. Listen,
and imagine playing to the crowd when
as well.
The Ian Wright fan club's watching us as well.
No, it's not the fan club. This is what it's about. It means everything to us in what's going on with our manager. Our manager gets a lot of stick. He's trying to build a team that can challenge these teams like City, like Liverpool. We've seen what Liverpool are doing. And all you've got to do is put in performances like this. So as then Liverpool know, if they do slip up, Arsenal are ready to take advantage. And that's what we need to do. Be ready to take the chance. And that's why we need to take them chances some of the times.
Yeah, they're now on the longest unbeaten run in the Premier League since Mikel Arteta came to the club, Joe.
Yeah, excellent performance today and an unbeaten run, but ultimately they're just trying to put pressure on the top. Today's a great moment. I'm sure they'll take a lot of momentum from it. But Liverpool, I think it will just be hurting Arsenal, the fact that they've chased City down now. That was who they've had in their sights this whole time. It's who they've had their eyes on. They've turned them over here. They look like they had their number. They had the belief to beat them. But then to just have Liverpool, I know, look, we're saying Liverpool have done nothing wrong. They've done absolutely nothing wrong. They put in a great performance yesterday at Bournemouth. They keep taking care of business. But Arsenal can feel good today, and I'm sure they will.
That's the heartbreaking thing.
He's playing to the crowd.
Oh, he loves it.
No,
let him sing to the crowd and we'll keep talking.
We'll carry on our conversation, right? You go and talk to your people.
The heartbreaking thing for Arsenal is they must have started this season and think, come on, we've got Manchester City in our eyes. If we can beat them, we're going to do it. And the heartbreaking thing, as I say, is they're absolutely ahead of City.
They keep breaking boundaries, but they need to break the number one boundary. That's the most important thing.
Exactly.
But in terms of belief, in terms of an injection in confidence, if they needed it, that they can compete with the very best and do it, as I say, in that manner today, what does that say?
Yeah, we're talking about a City side that's kind of like coming out of a little bit of a poor spell, trying to get themselves going, made a couple of signings, they're trying to gel it all together at the minute. And I thought that obviously Chelsea, if they won today as well, you start thinking, okay, we're starting to see some stabilising. But that result it's made us all like, where's that come from? But like, you have to say, the way Arsenal continue to play, they put the pressure on, they kept the pressure on City at the back, on Phil Foden, giving the ball away, kept the pressure on them, didn't give no chances to Erling Haaland, even though he scored, and they kept it tight. It felt very tight, felt like they had to earn every single thing what they tried to get today, City, and then we took chances. Win games.
I just want to put this into context today. That is only the second time that a Pep Guardiola side has conceded 5 goals in any competition in his managerial career.
Yeah.
That's what Arsenal have done today.
Yeah, well, Steve, I agree with that, and it is a big moment, but City they've took some big results this season, 4 at home to Tottenham.
Yeah.
This is not City who are cruising high at the top of the league. This is a City that a few teams have felt it. You know, I was away at Brentford. They never laid down at 2-0. People aren't scared of Manchester City at the moment.
But this is an Arsenal side, Joe, where people were saying, and we were talking right at the top of our show today, can they score goals? Can they finish the chances? Can they beat Manchester City playing like this?
I agree, and full credit to Arsenal today. And the thing that really struck me, like I say, wasn't the 2-1, wasn't turning it round after 2-1. A deflected goal can happen. Partey is a bit of a hopeful shot, hit Stones' back. It was the fact they wanted 3. Then they didn't want to just sit on 3, they wanted 4. And at the end, they're having a party and they're scoring the 5th. That was the most impressive thing for me. So they really grew from this game.
Yeah, City didn't have a shot since the equaliser.
No. As Wrighty said, they beat them in all areas, really. They didn't look like landing a glove on Arsenal today, right from minute one. I was so impressed with Arsenal. And, if they keep playing like that...
What impressed you the most? What impressed you the most? Because we were so close to the action here. I mean, the speed of the play and the strength and the pressing. But what impressed you the most, or perhaps surprised you the most today about Arsenal?
Yeah, I think their attitude and their belief to it, really. In that, I mentioned before the game, they've only beat 2 teams this season in the top half. You know, you go back over the last few years, they never beat Manchester City. Manchester City always beat them, or they draw.
Yeah.
You know, in the big games, that might just have broken the shackles now. They can take on the champions and absolutely blitz them. And now they shouldn't be scared of anybody that comes to this place, or for that matter, wherever they go in the country.
I think they've already, when you're talking about playing here, especially, the crowd's ready to be like they were today. I think that on many occasions we've seen. Again, I'm repeating myself a bit, but you need to take those chances for you to get comfortable in the game and give you that energy to keep working at what you're doing. You get that next goal, like Joe was saying, you go for the next one. And then you'll see even teams as good as City, they end up, you demoralise them, and then you just keep finishing them. And that's what we haven't done enough of in this season, particularly, missing a lot of chances. And if we could take them, we could probably do that to most teams in this league.
Right, do you think that Kai Havertz goal is a huge message for Arsenal today? The fact that obviously that narrative could have been groaning and moaning, you know, missing that chance at 1-0, going 1-1. But for him, I know it was only a 4th goal, but it was the 4th goal with the attitude and the composure that he took it.
It's funny because me and Mike was saying, you know, Mike, obviously the chance that we had when it was 1-1, and it was an easier chance, if we're going to be totally honest. And he missed that. It's like
1-0, that was 1-0.
Yeah, it was 1-0. And when it was 3-1, you're in a different headspace.
Right.
You know, he actually came back, Joe, cut inside someone, and then had to curl it over there. Whereas when he was there, he just needed to get it on target on the left. And sometimes it frees your mind up when you've got to go through when you're 3-1 and when you are 1-0 down. You know?
That's a really interesting point Joe's making, though. At 3-1, we've seen a lot of managers bring on extra players, make sure, game management, see it out. There was none of that from Arsenal today. The hunger, as he says, was there to go and get more.
Smelt blood, didn't they?
Sorry to interject. Usually we're very close to it, right? And it wasn't Arteta, you know, with how animated he can be. It was the team.
Very good point.
The team wanted it. Martin Odegaard, when he pressed, he didn't just run. Yeah. He ran, slinging his arms back like this, saying, "Come with me." Declan Rice and Partey were so tidy today. They will not get a mention, but they were excellent in just backing Odegaard up and freeing him up to really put the pressure on.
Yeah, you know, we spoke before the game as well about the goalkeeper situation and that Ederson, you know, you'd possibly lose that ball over the top into Haaland's feet. And that could have played a part. That could have given Arsenal a little bit more impetus to go and press. But I just think that the way they did press on that back four, the way they nicked it twice in the first half, scored the first goal, should have scored the second, and not killed the game off, but should have scored the second, all of a sudden it gave them so much confidence and energised them. And even in that second half, they couldn't pass out at Manchester City. They can always pass out, but they just couldn't.
Yeah. But the thing is that when you start to see it working, you've got the goals, what you're supposed to get, and then you're looking at a team and you're watching them slowly go into themselves like City. That's what happens. And so then what happens is you just get even more confident. And what's happened in too many occasions, Arsenal have missed the opportunity to get into that situation. They got into it today and really punished them.
The other little detail as well, Wrighty, I feel, is that going, let's say, playing that ball over, beating the press and playing a longer ball into Erling Haaland, it doesn't necessarily wash against Arsenal. Their centre-halves are so strong, so big, so aggressive.
There was one particular moment you turned to me with Saliba, wasn't there?
Yeah. I'd hate to play against him. I mean, it was a heavyweight contest, don't get me wrong, but Erling Haaland's, he's not the greatest at holding the ball up. His game is quite rough. Of course, he scores goals and everybody knows he's one of the best, most lethal strikers in the world. But his general play isn't unbelievable. No. And when you've got that power and that aggression, 2v1 against you, he's got no chance. So even if they miss the midfield and flip it over into his feet, they just bully him out the way. Yeah. And no matter what Manchester City did today, Arsenal had an answer for it.
And you know what as well, what happens with that, it happened to me a lot, is that when they know that sometimes you're a little bit lacking a bit of confidence in that first touch to hold it up to link the play, they come all the way with you. They'll go all the way. So when it goes into Erling, they'll just be right in his back because they believe that it's going to bounce off of him.